We're looking at our Stabfast vehicle stabilisation kit. It consists of 2 bags. In the lower bag we have 2 props. The upper bag, prop, wedge and hook blade. Kit 1 has 1 stabilisation prop, wedge and the hook blade. Kit 2 consists of 2 stabilisation props. When the unit is housed, it stands approximately 1 metre tall, fully extended, a little bit over 1.7 metres. Step 1 for stabilising the vehicle on its side. Release the strap. Feed out as much as we need to fully extend the stabiliser. The stabiliser has 4 pin index. Disengage the locking pin. When you're at the desired height, make sure the pin is fully engaged. Locate the top of the stabiliser firmly against the vehicle. At the rear, or at the lower end of the strap, you will find a hook. Engage the hook at the base of the vehicle to form a triangle. Take up all the slack. You'll note we have a protective webbing. This goes against any hot objects. At the base, retract all the webbing. The stabilising angle should be between 30 and 50 degrees. On the bonnet side, if possible, open the bonnet, find a secure anchor point. If not, first step will be to make a hole in the bonnet. Step 1, engage the hook blade onto the bonnet lip. Push firmly against the bonnet, pulling back towards itself. Step 2, put the blunt end of the hook blade in, using it as a lever if you need to make the hole bigger for the hook. While this has been happening, the second member has been fully extending the stabiliser. Both rescuers at the same time can now take up the tension to limit movement of the vehicle. The lateral alignment of the 2 stabilising struts should be no more than 500mm apart. We'll now go to step 3, putting the 3rd stabiliser at the rear of the vehicle. In conjunction with the 3rd stabiliser, we're going to use the steel wedge. It has 2 height adjustments. At the base of the 3rd stabiliser, remove the pin. This will allow the strap to be passed under the vehicle, through to the other side where it can be engaged into the wedge. Reattach at the base using the pin. Tighten all the straps using the heat protector against any hot surfaces. Tension up 3rd stabiliser. To do a controlled release, pull the lever on the turbo ratchet, take it up to the vertical position, backwards and forwards until pressure has been released. Scenario, we have a vehicle on its roof. Some primary stabilisation has been done with the chocks. Positioning of the Stabfast will depend on the extrication plan For this car we've got a hatchback, so we're going to lower that so the Stabfasts are going to be placed in and through the doors. For this scenario, the two Stabfasts either side of the vehicle. We've used our blue tube tape to run through from the hook of this first stabiliser through to the second one. We've lowered the rear hatch to show the limitations of putting the strap through the vehicle. As you can see, the straps where they are now may impact on the extrication of the patient. Another method which will keep the vehicle internal access clear, put the Horlicon tool in between where the window goes and just pry it open to make a space for the hooks. Simon's placed it inside the skin. Scott will now take up the tension. Repeat this process on the other side of the vehicle. Place the Horlicon tool in the window slot and lever. Using the turbo ratchet in conjunction with the operator on the other side, take up the tension. Yeah, they're using this method onto the doors. We haven't compromised any of our internal space. Will be two Stabfasts on the rear of the vehicle. For this scenario, we'll take it that the vehicle doesn't have a hatch, it's just a sedan. So the final setup is Stabfast left and right. We've used some of our blue strap again to go across the rear of the vehicle. If this was a sedan, it would have a larger boot area and doesn't compromise going through the rear windscreen to get into the vehicle. If you don't have any blue tape or similar, we're now showing the crossover method. We're going from base of one stabiliser, the base back over to the other. The limitations are the crossover effect at the rear of the vehicle, which may limit entry. With this crossover method in place, by ratcheting now we can get a small lift on the vehicle. We'll now show another controlled release. Pressure is now gone and we can just pull the straps out. When we first got the hook tool out this morning, the blade on it was quite dull. It is machinable, so Scott's taken it over engineering services and we've put a nice sharp point on it, and we'll try it again to see how we go. Yeah, that's much better than what we had this morning, so just remember that one. Our after use maintenance consists of a visual inspection. I'll zoom in on the webbing and I can show you here that we've got some abrasion on the side in the middle of the webbing, so this should be replaced. Inside the bag it's a little bit dirty, but it's got some debris there, so we'll just wipe that out. Recommended that we use a cloth or a soft broom for these tasks. For the moving parts of the Stabfast, as required, just some silicone spray. With the hook blade, as we mentioned before, make sure that tip's sharp, otherwise you won't be able to make the holes in the doors and bonnets. The pry tool at the other end, make sure that's in good condition, not bent or got any sharps on it. Before we stow it away, make sure that the sharp tip is covered. That way there's no chance of people cutting themselves or putting holes in the bags.